Hey YouTubers, good morning, it's Robb. Guys, today I want to talk about how to get a refund from a bad business, from somebody who's just bad. you know, I was watching Brad's video the other day on BC Blades. He was having trouble getting his money back from somebody, and I thought, that'd be a good video, was to go over all the different things a person could do to get their money back, a refund from a bad business. In my experience over the years, different companies and sole proprietors and so on. This is not legal advice. If you want to take anything that's require you to have legal advice, you don't want to use this information. This is just my experience and others of getting their money back, getting a refund from somebody who's just bad. So first of all, number one, whenever possible, try not to use a bad business. Use Google reviews or Yelp or your local neighbors, your family. Get references if you can. That's usually not something can be done. Usually your air conditioner comes out and somebody comes to the house, and next thing you know, you're signing paper and they're doing the work, and you didn't really see if they were any good or not, so you're just kind of stuck. But whenever possible, use Yelp and Google reviews. Also, on a side note, if you want to have some fun, go to Yelp and see all the reviews that people have left for the actual Yelp company. Some people who use Yelp have left some of the most bitter, angry, dramatic reviews of the Yelp company in San Francisco I've ever. It's wonderful reading, entertaining. But yeah, try to get information about whoever you're doing business with before you start. So that's very helpful, just to cut it off at the pass. Number two, when you have a problem, oftentimes, if it's not a sole proprietor, it's a big company, you end up getting sent to a phone where you have to call somebody that end up being a person named Ted who's in Bangalore or Bangladesh, and they're just reading off a paper. They've got a terrible job. They're getting paid $3 a day, and all they're doing is reading what they're supposed to tell you when you call, and they're not very helpful. And what they're trying to do basically is not give you a refund. And so when you ask them about something, they say, well, you have to first do your product again, or do this with your product. And you've gone through that before. You want your refund. What I found helpful is when you're talking to somebody overseas, or even here on the phone, and you're not able to get through that refund process, is stop asking them about getting a refund and ask them what their refund procedure is. Because they're kind of trained to not give you a refund, but also they're not able to give you a refund. They're not authorized. The only people who can do that is the refund department. And so since you never brought up about talking to the refund department, they're not going to send you there, son. They're just there to hinder you from getting a refund. But once you tell them, and also always be polite, always be calm, but always be stubborn, to the point of where you're almost autistic. You want your refund. When are we going to get the refund? Don't stop talking about what you want, what the problem is, are going off track. But tell them, well, what is your process for refund? And oftentimes you'll hear, well, you have to go to the refund department. Once they admit they have a refund department, so, well, can you please give me to the refund department? And once you go to them, you're on a different group of people, a different level. Usually you can start your refund process. But always stay calm and polite and stubborn. So that's very helpful. Number three, document everything. Whenever you call anybody on the phone, it's good to have something like a logbook or a notebook, and write down the date and who you talked to, when it was, what you talked about, why, where, how, everything that you can think of, put down. So next time you have to call somebody, you can say, by the way, I talked to Mary on October 17th at 11 o'clock in the morning at extension 2097, and she said I should call back in about 2 weeks and give you this information. And so they know they're talking to somebody who's keeping track of everything, and you're going to be a little harder to shake off. So it's also for your own benefit. You know what was said and what you're expected to be doing. Keep a written record of everything. Also, all your receipts, all your paperwork, everything. Number four, if you're having trouble and you're at that first level, always eventually ask to talk to a supervisor in a firm, very, very polite and calm manner. And then just go up the chain of command. And if your supervisor can, I remember one time I was going to school a few years ago at my age, and when I went to the college, I had to enroll within 2 days, and they said I had to get my transcripts from high school. Well, I knew they wouldn't get there by mail, so I went and drove down to the high school, and they were able to get a microfilm and then print it out and give me a copy. I drove back to the college, and I talked to someone named Jose, and I said, I didn't want to send it to the mail. I want to make sure you got it. I only got 2 days left, and I gave it to him. So then when I went to actually do the enrollment process, they said, well, we never got your transcript. And I said, well, yes, you did. I said, I hand-delivered. Well, we don't accept hand-delivered. You only have to send it to the mail. That's the only way we accept them. So not only you did accept them, I talked to Jose, and said, well, we that doesn't count. You have to do it to the mail. And I said, listen, I want to talk to a supervisor. So, well, you know what? Our supervisors are busy. I said, that's okay. I'll wait. So I sat down for an hour and a half. Very stubborn, very polite, very calm. And when the supervisor finally came out, and she was kind of looking kind of sour, and I explained to her, you know, ma'am, I want to make sure you got the transcripts, and I hand delivered them, and they're on microfilm because I'm like 100 years old. And eventually we got it straightened out, and I was able to take the class. But if you go up the chain of command, don't take no. Like the guy was going to have me just not enroll because that was a procedure. You got to talk to somebody else. Now, what if you talk to the supervisor and you still don't get help? Well, number 5, go to LinkedIn and find out who the department heads are in that company. And then you can get their email or phone or address or whatever, and you can contact them and go above that person you talk to. And number 6, what if that doesn't help? The department head is a stone wall. Go to the corporate office, get your corporate office information, and start just going up the ladder. If you have to go to the very top, go to the very top. I was working at this company for 17 years. I was working in manufacturing. One day, somehow they misrouted a phone call. A customer was very upset. And once he told me his problem, I was very upset because I spent a lot of time making these products, and the salespeople were giving him a runaround. And I said, listen, I want to give you the right number to call, but if they don't give you satisfaction, I work in manufacturing. I make these products. I put a lot of time and effort in this. And if the people on the sales department are screwing you around, I'll go to the company head and tell them I want somebody to help me find out what the hell's going on, because I don't want customers mad at stuff I made over something a salesman is doing out there. And so I said, you call me back anytime you have a problem. So if you get to the right person, sometimes they're going to be on your side. You just got to go through all the rigmarole. And like I said, find the corporate office, start going up the chain. If you have to go to the head, go to the head. And number 7, if you've gone through all this by now, it's time to bring out the big guns. You want to make yourself a YouTube video about everything you're doing. And then, because next, if you're not getting any help from the company after you've gone through all this baloney, you got to go to where, like, your local television or newspaper. They often have, like, here in South Florida, we have, and Miami Herald has Help Me Howard or Channel 10 News. They have people that will have consumer problems, and they help consumers with their issues. And so if you can tell the person at the news station or the newspaper that you've done all this, plus you've made a YouTube channel documenting what the problem was, they'll go watch that video, and they'll actually go to an effort of helping you, because they can see how serious you are and you've documented everything. So that's what they like to see. So also, by having it on YouTube, you might just get lucky and get a viral video and make more money than you were going to get from your refund anyway. So, but once you've gone past everybody you can at the company, it's time to start doing other things. Like I said, start with a YouTube video, go to your newspaper and your television, your radio, whatever, and see if there's not consumer people that are looking for stories like yours. Now, what's next? You got to start bringing in the people who get paid to do this for a living. The Better Business Bureau is one. If you did something to the post office and you're getting screwed and they won't give your money back, the U.S. Post Office has a deal where if someone's committing fraud through the mail, for every instance of fraud, that's a jail term. So if they defrauded 10 people, that's 10 jail terms. So they look into this very seriously. That's why you don't have that many mail fraud anymore, because the crooks know they're going to get in prison for every single one of their frauds, a certain amount of years. So, but the USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, will definitely look into anything done through the mail. Also, the FTC is aligned with them often, the Federal Trade Commission. But also, your state almost always has a consumer affair organization that's set up specifically to handle problems that aren't getting solved. So look into your state consumer affairs. Now, what if you've done all this and it's still not working? Well, go to small claims. I say this to near the end because I hate lawyers or courts and judges, but you can go to small claims court. You can often call them up on the phone and tell them who you want to sue, why, and so on, and they can send you the correct forms for you to fill out without even having to go down there. And you can just send them back to the mail to get it started. And oftentimes, it's for amounts up to $10,000. People don't realize that. Usually, they think it's $500 or maybe $1,000. No, oftentimes it's up to $10,000. And they'll take the case. You don't need a lawyer. So now, what if you've done all this? Well, if it's something for a lot of money, obviously you want to get a real lawyer and go through civil court. But if it's still just a small amount of money and you've just been driving you crazy and you want to take it farther, you might want to think about maybe you should just talk to the person about renegotiating the amount. Maybe they just can't pay it. Maybe they're just stony broke and you're never going to get it. But if you know they have a lot of money and they should pay you and they're just screwing you, maybe you can just renegotiate the amount, or they could do it over a period of time, or you could take out a trade. Somehow just to renegotiate things before you go crazy. Now, let's say you've done all this and you've gone crazy. This is for the serious crazy people. I've never done this. I don't recommend it, but you could start doing things like this. You could go to your town hall, your city government, and get a permit to picket. You could start getting signs, get your friends, relatives, whatever, and you could just picket the company. That's going to bring a lot of attention, unwelcome to them, and that might help. The next thing you could do is you could just start doing signage. Let's say you have a business or house or whatever near an interstate where a lot of traffic. If you have a big panel truck, just get someone to paint on the side of the truck, advertising that's negative toward the company, stating facts so you don't want to get sued. But I'm not telling you to do this, but that's something you might want to think about. You could start putting signs up about how the company is not a good company and the reasons why. And they're not going to like that, and it's going to hurt them. And if they can afford to pay you, I think they might pay you. Another thing that I've known people to do, I don't recommend, but being very polite, respectful, oftentimes recording what's going on and staying a short amount of time. They knock on their door. There's no law against knocking on someone's door at 6 o'clock in the evening, right around supper time, and asking to speak to a person and just said, by the way, here's an envelope with my name and address and stamp, because you may want to pay me, and just in case you ever feel like doing it, here's the envelope. You could just put the money in there anytime you feel like it, so we don't have to continue doing this. I don't have to keep coming over. And of course, if you keep coming over, you're going to have legal problems where it's harassment and so on, but that might get some action. Another thing is, it's always good to reach out to people on the holidays and tell how you're thinking of them, like on Christmas and Thanksgiving and Passover. Just give them a call on supper time and say, hey, have you thought about paying me, And that's always something helpful. And if that still doesn't work, I recommend you go back to YouTube and start making more videos about the subject, and maybe you'll get viral and go and make a lot of money just from YouTube video. And if none of that works, I think you might just have to eat the bullet, and you're not getting paid on this one. But those are some of the areas where you could investigate and about getting a refund. So I'm not saying you should do them, or they're something you want to do, but those are possibilities of thinking out of the box. Also, resources that are legal and used often that people may not be aware of, like the FTC, the USPS, the State Consumer Affairs, BB, the Better Bureau, Business Bureau, your local radio, TV, newspaper, and using LinkedIn to get corporate information and so on. So, guys, I want to wish you the best of luck, and hope these boogers get your money back, and they don't keep taking advantage of you. I've just known people that got beaten down really bad, like my brother. He was broke, and he had to move, and he scraped it. I gave him some money, and he scraped some money to get a first and last for an apartment, and then he was going to move in, and then the landlord changed his mind, but then he wouldn't give my brother his deposit back, and he tried a bunch of things, and my brother was like basically on welfare, and the landlord kind of knew he wasn't in a situation to cause him a lot of problems financially or legally, and so he just stiffed him for it. And my brother, it really hurt him. And I just hate people taking advantage of other people. When if they're broke and they can't afford to pay you, I understand. But some people, they're just bad, and they deserve for people to be polite and patient and stubborn, and make sure they get their money back. All right, hope this was something helpful to you guys. Put out new videos every week. Been doing it for 14 years. Put stuff on every single week, and y'all come back. See you out there.